Hello friends, welcome to my channel Language and Life Skills. I am Matthew Attikan. Today I would like to present to you the tragedy of Hamlet the Prince of Denmark. Hamlet's father, King Hamlet, ruled Denmark, and he died in mysterious circumstances. Soon after that, his brother Claudius became king and married the king's wife, Gertrude, Queen Gertrude. Soon after that, the ghost of the elder Hamlet appeared outside the castle of Elsinore at midnight to Horatio, a friend of Hamlet. So next day, both Hamlet and Horatio kept watch, and the ghost appeared once more now to Hamlet, and urged Hamlet to take revenge on Claudius because his father said he had been murdered by Claudius with his mother's consent. He was asked to take revenge on his uncle. Hamlet brooded over this a long time because revenge is unchristian, and he began to behave strangely. This made the usurper king Claudius alarmed, and he pretended to show great love to Hamlet. And he set two courtiers, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, to spy on Hamlet. And a great courtier called Polonius, the right hand of Claudius, he started to spy on Hamlet because Hamlet was in love with his daughter Ophelia. So he secretly spied on them. Hamlet was behaving strangely to Ophelia because of his confused state of mind, blowing hot and cold, and he told her, "Go and shut yourself in a nunnery." Since the ghost was urging revenge, Hamlet had to make sure that it was indeed his father who was speaking to him. He needed to establish the guilt of his uncle. He got an opportunity for doing this when a visiting theatre group came to the court, and so he arranged for a scene similar to the murder of his father, and they enacted this in front of King Claudius. When the moment of murder came, King Claudius got up abruptly and he left the scene. So the guilt of King Claudius was clearly established. What actually happened was that when King Hamlet was taking rest in the afternoon in his garden, both Claudius and Queen Gertrude came together. They poured poison in his ear and he was murdered. Nobody knew about this. So now, Hamlet was very, very upset with his mother, and he went and confronted her. He spoke very roughly to his mother, spoke daggers to her in her own words because of her incest. Now, Polonius was a meddler and talkative character. He was hiding behind the curtain, listening to Hamlet's conversation. He made an involuntary sound, and hearing this, Hamlet got alarmed. He drew out his sword and stabbed the person through the curtain. He thought it was King Claudius. It was not Claudius, but it was Polonius, and Polonius was killed. King Claudius was very angry, and he punished Hamlet by sending him to England with two officials. And they sent a letter with him which said that as soon as Hamlet arrived in England, he should be killed. Hamlet came to know about this. He erased his name and substituted some other name. And he managed to escape back to England, back to Scotland during a storm when pirates had attacked the ship. Meanwhile, we have the sad story of poor Ophelia, who was confused by Hamlet and always advised, always supervised by her father. So she got desperate and drowned herself in a pool near a willow tree. At this time, her brother Laertes returned from France from his studies, and he was very angry with Hamlet. Knowing this, Claudius set up a duel between Hamlet and Laertes, and he treacherously gave Laertes a poisoned sword so that Hamlet would get wounded by the sword and die. As a second line of defense, the king also arranged for a poisoned cup of wine to be kept at the site of the duel. And this cup was offered to Hamlet in the course of the duel, but he refused. And Queen Gertrude unknowingly took the cup, toasted Hamlet, and drank the cup, and she fell down dead. Now, in the fight, both Hamlet and Laertes got wounded, and Laertes was about to die. At that moment, he revealed the secret to Hamlet that it was indeed King Claudius who had plotted against his life and arranged for the poisoned sword and poisoned cup. With that, Laertes died. Hamlet got very angry. He took the poisoned cup of wine and forced it down the throat of King Claudius. And King Claudius collapsed. And after that, Hamlet also died. At the end of the play, the stage is filled with corpses of all the main characters. It's only one person who remains alive, that is Horatio, the friend of Hamlet, who tells the story of Hamlet to future generations. Now let's see a few critical comments about this play. Hamlet is as much a psychological play as a stage tragedy, a tragedy in which the stage is filled with corpses. Now, Hamlet is a very unhappy young man who is rendered fatherless, whose mother is faithless, and whose uncle is lecherous and ruthless. He is caught in a web of their lust and evil plots, and tormented by the ghost of his father. And he is in a terrible inner turmoil, and he is not sure whether to take revenge or to end his life. Meanwhile, poor Ophelia is a victim of these plots and the confusion of Hamlet. So Hamlet has become a symbol of indecision. And from the story, married people, particularly parents, should realize how their immoral life can impact their children. Lust and murder very often go hand in glove with each other. Hamlet's story is a story of betrayal, lust, and hypocrisy. Claudius and Gertrude, for them, it's a story of lust. Gertrude betrays her husband, is unfaithful to him, and she is engaged in a shameless cover-up act. Their marriage followed very soon after the death of the king. So much so, Hamlet said it was a wicked speed, and he said the dishes prepared for the funeral were served cold for the wedding feast. And yes, lust has no shame or patience. And that is the main lesson from this. Hamlet is supposed to exclaim at the end about his mother, "Frailty, thy name is woman." Right at the center of this tragedy is King Claudius, a thorough villain, though he is trying to mask it with a smiling face. He has no qualms of murdering his brother and marrying his queen. He pretends to have great love and solicitude for Hamlet, but passes secret orders for his execution. He resorts to poisoning the wine and the fencing sword. He is the ultimate Machiavellian villain. He cannot escape the hands of justice and is killed by Hamlet, whose story is told to future generations by Horatio. Now let's quickly see a few famous quotations from this play. Brevity is the soul of wit. This is said by Polonius, the talkative character. And this means being concise in speech is a sign of intelligence. There is something rotten in the state of Denmark, said by Hamlet. And this has become an idiom for political disorder, political lack of principles in a country. One can smile and be a villain about Claudius by Hamlet. One can pretend. To be or not to be, that is the question. This is the famous soliloquy of Hamlet about his dilemma, whether to live or whether to die. There is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. This is the philosophical conclusion of Hamlet about life. Everything depends on your thinking. Lastly, a piece of advice from Polonius once again. Give every man your ear, but few thy voice. Listen to everyone, but open your heart only to a trusted few. Friends, if you like this video, subscribe. So bye till another time. Bye.